Sorry about being a little bit late. Had to take an important phone call, so that was a great call. But I want to start off by thanking our fans that traveled to Dallas. You were loud, you were involved, and we appreciate the support. You know, we talk all the time about and really have stressed a fast start. Especially over the last few weeks. We always talk about starting fast and finishing strong. I thought our finish was much better, much improved. But this is 3 straight games that we're unable to score in the first quarter and taking a heavy punch. And that continues to be over the last 3 weeks an issue and something we'll continue to address. We are seeing improvements in a lot of areas, but it's not been enough to get the outcome that we want. But we'll continue to go back to work. We'll focus on ourselves and getting better as we do each and every week, and look at some of the costly penalties at the most inopportune times that were obviously a huge impact on the game. But with all this being said, with a minute 51, the ball's in your hands with a chance to go down and tie or win the game, and against a very good opponent. So we are making progress, but again, it's not enough at this point to get us over the hump. Defensively, when you hold the SEC's #1 ranked offense, top offenses in the country, to well below their average. This unit continues to play at a very high level and has gotten better over the last several weeks. I've never been a part of a unit that has had 2 players that had as much production as Dre Greenlaw and Scooter Harris had this past Saturday at the linebacker position. These guys are definitely playing at a very elite level. And obviously we see the impact that Dre has since he's returned for this defense. I thought Santos Ramirez had played his best game of the year. And it's no surprise to me as you watch his work ethic, you watch his leadership. He's elite. He's elite in everything that he does. And as I shared with him before the game, I said, this is, in my opinion, it was his best week of practice. And after the game, and shared with him, it's no surprise that he played the way he did. This unit continues to improve, playing very good third down defense. We're seeing improvements in all 3 areas. Your defensive line continues to make improvements. Armand Watts with another sack, a guy that has put his time in, and you see the improvements that he's made, and it's his turn, and he's playing at a very high level. Obviously, we talked about our linebacker core. Our secondary is playing extremely well. Ryan Pulley is playing at an elite level, and obviously with Santos and Cam Curl just giving everything he has out there. And I thought that we're doing some really good things. This unit continues to develop into the most consistent part of this football team, and we'll continue to lean on them until we can bring the offense along, and they'll continue to improve. Special teams, outside of the first play, I thought there was drastic improvements, but one play is a difference. You never know what play it is, but one play makes a difference. And kickoff coverage, opening kickoff, and it was a collection of things. After looking back on it, I thought after the game that it was a field return, but it was the exact return we had shown all week long. We'd gone through it all week. We had one person that avoided the wrong side and got collapsed down, and when he did, he knocked 2 guys off, and one lost his footing. And when you had that, you opened up a crease. And with the speed that they had at the return, we couldn't catch him. It's fixable, but it's the little things that lead to big results. And it was the little things of avoiding the wrong way and collapsing down and knocking 2 guys off, of course. So we'll continue to work on that and build on it. After that one, we definitely fixed some things, and I thought Reed's a strong performance. I'm excited to watch this young man as a true freshman continue to develop. Offensively, I thought offensively as the game went on, I thought that we saw improvements. I thought that as the game went on, Ty Story became more comfortable and looked a little bit more settled, making some plays, especially right there in that late third quarter. He continues to get better with every snap. It was good to see C.J. O'Grady coming in and having success and providing a spark that was much needed. We all know he's extremely talented, but it's the little things, and he focused on a lot on the little things last week, and obviously that result continued to pay off during Saturday's game. Mike Woods, true freshman, got his first start. Thought he continues to get better. But when you look at it in the inability to be effective in the run game, I've said it from the get-go, we got to be able to run the football. And when you can't run the football and you can't run it effective, it causes a series of issues. We got to be able to capitalize off defensive turnovers. Dre creates 2 turnovers and we get 0 points out of it. We got to be able to capitalize on those points. Too many tackles for loss, sacks that kept us off schedule. And as a play caller, it's hard to stay on schedule when you're always behind the chains. Forced into too many 3rd and longs. We have not been effective 3rd down offensively this year. But when you have 7 3rd and 7 plus, which we consider 3rd and longs, you have to look at what caused it. And so you look at the first down production, and we try to be as 50-50 as you can on first down, run to pass. We had 22 first down calls, and 16 of those 22 put us in a 2nd and long to extra long, whether that be a penalty, whether that be a tackle for loss, whether that be a 0-yard gain. And so you're immediately on 2nd down behind the sticks. And so we've got to do a better job of that in all areas. We've obviously got a great opponent coming in. They have been the standard for college football over the last several years. There is watching film on them, there's very few deficiencies. They do what they do, and they do it at a very high level. But with that being said, it has been and it always will be about the Arkansas Razorbacks and our ability to continue to come back to work tomorrow. We were back on the field yesterday and taking our film and going through the game and getting better, and then get back out on the field tomorrow and continue to get better. And that's what I'm focused on, is this football team improving each day. In closing, I'm excited to watch this team as they grow, because the growth is happening. It is happening. And there are results that are happening. It's not happening on the scoreboard just yet, but we are seeing improvements, and we're going to continue to grow. And this team is going to continue to come together more and more each and every day and get better. I'm excited about the amazing group of recruits that we're going to have on campus. This is going to be a huge weekend for us in a recruiting standpoint. A lot of official visitors are going to be on campus to come here not only just to see the growth that's happening in this program, but to see the love that our fans have for this university, for this football program, and for the vision that we have set for this program. So I'm extremely excited about that. And with that, I'll open up for questions.
Raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you.
Yeah, Chad, just wondering if you have an update on Jeremy Patton's injury, and is there a chance that Devois could play, or kind of what's his situation?
Yeah, Jeremy will be out this week, and Devois is day-to-day at this point.
Is Jeremy just be back in 2 weeks?
We're just going to take it week to week right now. So,
Coach, earlier in the year when you were talking about recruiting, I know you can't speak about specifics, but you talked about addressing size at wide receiver and things like that. Just talk a little bit about what you guys look for in wide receiver recruiting, because it has been a big emphasis in this class.
Yeah, I think that's always been, when you look at the teams that we've been a part of and coached, is the size at wide receivers, especially when you start looking at the size of the DBs that you're playing against in this league. You're facing 6'1", 6'2" corners. And so we got to have the size, got to have the speed, and we'll continue to develop the guys we got. That's what I'm excited about as well.
Coach, 2 straight fantastic games from the linebackers. Would you say that of all the improvements from the defense in those 2 games, the linebacker position was the key to 2 successful performances for the unit overall?
Well, I think that obviously they're playing at a very high level. I mean, they are. That group is. But I think that all works in tandem. I think if you talk to both Dre and Scooter, they're going to tell you their ability to be able to make those tackles is because the defensive line is playing much better and is keeping those linemen off of them and giving them a chance to play downhill. And so I think that's a lot of it. I think you got a lot of experience there, and there's a great tandem. Something to be said that knowing the guy right beside you is, and you've played together for so long, you know what he's thinking, you know the fits that's going to happen. But I think it's a credit to not just those guys, but it's a credit to Coach Chavis and our defensive staff. The way John Scott and Steve Caldwell are getting those guys prepared up front, and those guys are executing.
When you look at the first downs you mentioned a minute ago and third downs, what's going on? What do you have to improve at to get better in those areas?
Well, I think some of it, and we've gone through every – it's interesting you asked that because we've gone through every third and long and went and peeled it back even further of why did we get to third and long? What was the first down call? What happened? What was the result on first down? And whether it being just a guy making a play, coming off of us, not sustaining a double team, getting tackled for a -1 yard loss, having the hole there and not hitting it quick. It's really not one thing. It's several things that lead into it. And there's several times you have a penalty on first down and now you're backed up. So we've gone back and we continue to go back and study. We've got to be more efficient and effective on first down.
Coach, how do you feel like the cornerback spot opposite Pulley is coming along there?
Well, I thought Jarquez is playing well. I thought that Busta is playing well. 2 young kids that are getting better with reps, and that's good to see. And I think one of them had 40-something reps, the other had 30-something, somewhere in there. I don't know exact rep count, but I'm pretty close. But both of these young men are they're improving. They're young, and when you play a lot of youth, you're going to make mistakes. And but the thing you always look for when you're playing young players is how do they improve through the course of a game when things go wrong. And I think that's there's a lot of good communication that's happening on the back end right now with those guys.
When you study Alabama's offense and you look at Tua and the difference he's made from the championship game last year to what he's doing this year, I think his third down efficiency is over 300 and what he's able to do, just their offense, but the offense running behind him.
Well, I think, when you look at, first of all, there's not as I mentioned, there's not a lot of deficiencies. They're very sound. They do what they do. They do it at a very high level. He's very calm. He's collective. He understands playing within the system and not going above and beyond what's asked of him, just to operate the system and be effective and efficient with it and take care of the football. And I think that's what you're seeing with him.
Kevin Richardson, just how much progress has he made, and just how in the games he's played, and how much more do you feel he can use them? And also Callaway, is he still on the team, or what's his status?
Yes, he's still on the team, but there's nothing new to report on him. I think Kevin Richardson is, to get a guy back out on the field last week with the experience that he had, and just a moral lift for all those guys to see a young man that's gone through so much adversity to get back out there on that field and provide a spark. I think it just feeds off each other. So it was great to see. I really expect him to continue in his role to grow more and more.
Hey, Nick Saban has had the success with a succession of defensive and offensive coordinators. Can you maybe speak to how you're able to do that as a head coach, that different guys come in those positions and you just keep winning and winning championships? Well,
I think when you look at the success that they've had, that he's had, this is what he wants to do. This is his system. This is how what his vision is for the program. And, I think as you look offensively, they've evolved in some regards to fit the different, the way things are changing in college football. But at the same sense, it all goes back to, they're going to do what they do, and they're going to do it at a very high level.
Yeah, Chad, I mean, you're playing great teams in the SEC every game pretty much, but to have the #1 team coming to your place, how big a deal is that? And was Florida State, do you remember where they were ranked? I was wondering if you'd faced #1 teams before.
Yeah, they were ranked #1 when we played them. And so, yeah, we went to their place and played them. But, it's another opportunity. It's an opportunity for this football program, regardless who's coming in here, for us to continue to stay on the path that we're on, of focusing on our process of just getting better every day at every position. Every coach has to get better. Every player's got to get better, and that's what we ask. And when we continue that path, then we know great things are coming.
Coach, the center snap, and you played two different centers. I assume you're staying with Ty Clary. How close is Shane Clinton? I see him listed as the backup. I know that's a hard position to rotate players, but what's the future there?
Yeah, with Ty, let me back up. I said it last week, and I firmly believe that's our best lineup. That's our best lineup up front. Ty has, the week before we were everything was great with snaps, we did not see. I mean, obviously, Ty and Ty both work together, and they work after practice together. I mean, that's something they'll continue to do. They've been doing it, but that was not an issue during the course of practice last week. And but we'll continue to work it, and he understands and he knows. And we were very fortunate. We were very very lucky in some regards on handling some of the bad snaps. We got to get better at that, but I do feel like that without a doubt right now that's our best position. If something happens with where we are, obviously we're going to continue to bring Shane along, but I think the move is, if something happens, that Froholt would have to go back to center at this point.
You mentioned the fans after the game Saturday, they clapping for you guys as you're walking off. How important was that for the team based off some of the negativity that had been surrounding you guys from the outside fan base?
Yeah, again, we understand, and just everybody wants to win, and everybody wants to have success, and and we get it, and we understand that. But we got to focus on what we can control. But to continue to see, and it wasn't just last week; it's been each week that this football team comes out there to see our fans that come out and support and to cheer these young men on, and the love they have for the Hogs and this university. That's always encouraging, and our players see it and they feel it, and they know the love. They know the disappointment that where we're at, but they also see that there is growth, and they see that there is progress being made. But that is very important for those guys to see that.
Chad, Alabama, they lead in a lot of categories. They lead the nation in kickoff returns, and they've had, I think, punt return for a touchdown. They've had some pick sixes. Just how concerned are you specifically about their kickoff return game and just the way they can score a lot of ways besides offensively?
Yeah, I mean, they've had several defensive touchdowns, and obviously plays that set up touchdowns created by the defense, special teams. I think they returned a punt, returned a kickoff. I mean, they're as I mentioned, there's not a lot of deficiencies when you look at them all across the board, and they're sound. They're extremely well coached. And it's kickoff return, it's kickoff coverage, it's a lot of things, and they do it very well. So we've got to continue to get better. We got to address the issues that caused us to have some mistakes, and we've got to be able to make plays when we get out there. Any more questions for Coach Morris? All right, thank you.